What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to iStuff Gaming, and today we're going to be doing a character guide on the warrior Sun Wukong. Now, before we get into the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to keep up with any future content. I'll be leaving both the links to my Twitch channel and my Discord in the description below. Now, before we really get into the video, I'd like to apologize. I was in Vegas for a little while, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I've been upgrading any videos. But the main reason why I want to do a guide on this character because he's been seeing a lot more play in SPL. The character's a lot stronger because of character changes, and I'm pretty sure y'all saw that new Sun Wukong video game that's going to be coming very, very soon. So, in honor of that, let's go ahead and get onto this character's abilities and his passive. So, for Sun Wukong's passive, it's known as Undefeated Body. When Sun Wukong is below 50% health, he gains 10 physical power and 10 protections, plus another 2 physical power and 1 protection for his current level. While Undefeated Body is active, if Sun Wukong goes above 50% health, he maintains the buff for 12 seconds. So, he'll get a flat 10 physical power and 10 physical protections, and then once he hits level 20, in total, he'll have an extra 40 physical power, which maxes at 50 extra power, and an extra 20 protections, maxing out at 30 protections once he goes below 50% health. This is a very, very strong tool, especially for a warrior. It makes it to where he can hit extremely hard, and he can tank a lot more efficiently when he goes below 50% health. Sun Wukong's first ability is known as Magic Cudgel. Sun Wukong's magical cudgel grows in length and he slams it down, damaging all enemies in front of him. Minions and jungle camps take an extra 30% damage. This is your go-to clear move, and out of all the clear moves for a lot of the warriors, this is extremely safe because he can actually move around with this ability. As you can see, it goes a pretty decent length. He will hit the entire wave, and once you have this leveled up with a little bit of power, you'll more than likely instant clear the back archer minions. So this is a very, very useful ability for the solo lane. Up next, we have Master's Will. Sun Wukong strikes around him, damaging and slowing all enemies. This move is his hardest hitting ability outside of his third ability, which we'll get to in a moment. But let me go ahead and show you what it looks like. So you will take a 30% slow if you get hit by this ability, and their attack speed is actually slowed by 25% as well. Let me go ahead and show you what it looks like. So it has a pretty forgiving area of effect since it can also hit behind him. Let me go ahead and show you what it looks like. So it does a pretty hefty amount of damage just for getting this little AoE. So this move is really, really strong, especially on a warrior who can slow you and catch back up to you, and we're about to go over that in just a moment. Sun Wukong's third ability is known as 72 Transformations. This is a dash. He has 3 different versions of this ability. We're going to go ahead and go over the first one first. The Ego Transformation, which is the fastest of 3 forms, is immune to slows and root effects. However, he is not immune to stuns and mezzes or anything that cripples. So keep that in mind. Let me go ahead and show you what this looks like. This is his run move. Let me go ahead and show you. As you can see, he can go a pretty decent amount of distance, and this is affected by his movement speed, so you can actually go farther than this once you actually put on some movement speed on him with like boots or the speed elixir. So keep that in mind. Up next in his third ability, he has his Tiger. He mauls the first enemy he runs into, stunning and causing damage. Now this ability can hit minions for a fair reason. As you can see down at the bottom, his Tiger does 380 damage if it hits. That is his hardest hitting ability. It hits harder than his second ability, and it hits harder than his first ability. However, it is pretty difficult to hit, but once you get used to it, this move is so freaking useful. Let me go ahead and show you what it looks like. So to use the Tiger, you have to go into the second slot here in the yellow. I'm going to show you what this looks like. As you can see, and you're stunned for a fairly decent amount of time. That's enough time for you to hit your second ability and your first ability. The stun does last for 1.4 seconds, so it's very, very useful for engagements. Finally, we have his Ox Transformation. Knocks aside all enemies in his path and causes damage. He is immune to slows, roots, and knock-up effects. However, just like his Eagle form, he is not immune to cripples, stuns, or mezzes, so keep that in mind. However, this is a very good get-off-me tool. You can hit an abundance of people with this ability, and it's your secondary run move. You usually use this run move when you're trying to get back to tower, or if there are a lot of people jumping you. So you can actually use this to knock them all away and give you a second to get away. Now, the Eagle will get you farther. However, the Ox will almost guarantee the fact that you get away unless they hit you with a stun or a cripple. Let me go and show you what this is. So to use the Ox, all you have to do is aim your camera down and get to this last little bit here, and you'll instantly transform into the Ox. Let me go and show you what it looks like. Okay. And yes, it does go a decent distance. However, you'll cover more ground with the Eagle. So it's literally just up to you to assess the situation and determine whether you want to use the Eagle or use the Ox. And finally, we have Sun Wukong's ultimate ability, Somersault Cloud. This is a long one, but it's pretty simple. Sun Wukong leaps onto his cloud for up to 5 seconds, leaving a pet behind to fight. While on the cloud, Sun Wukong is invisible and regenerates health. He may leap off before the duration expires, dealing damage. The pet inherits a percentage of Sun Wukong's current strength and defense. The pet is killed instantly if hit by a crowd control, excluding banishes and knockbacks. If the pet dies, Sun Wukong is revealed on his cloud. Now, the two main things you need to take from this is that he heals, and his ult will deal damage. Well, three main things, actually. He will heal, he will deal damage once the ultimate is over, and if his pet is hit by any kind of CC, excluding banishes and knockbacks, he will be revealed on his cloud. So, let me go ahead and show you what this looks like. Charge up for a second, and it'll come into this cloud, and then your minion will attack somebody for a certain amount of time. And then you slam down. Now, that, as you can see, the AoE is pretty large, and this does a hefty amount of damage for an ultimate, for a healing ultimate at 500, and then he heals 5% of his health the longer he is in his cloud. Right? So, this is affected by anti-heal, obviously. But this is also another good get off me tool, considering the fact that he's CC immune during the channeling, and while he's in the cloud, even when people can see him, you can't be hit or CC'd out of the air. You can actually just determine where you want to land after it. So this is a really good safety ult, while also doubling as a damaging ult, and this could be really good for kill confirms. However, I wouldn't recommend using it for that. And the fact that he has this little minion that will actually deal a little bit of damage for you while he's out, unless he's hit by some hard CC. I'll go over the implications of this ultimate in a little bit, but let's go ahead and move on to his best items. Alright, so Sun Wukong has quite a few good items. A couple seasons ago, there was a thing called the Vampire Sun Wukong build. There's the extremely tanky yet powerful Bruiser type Sun Wukong build, but I'm going to be going over his solo lane capabilities. So, obviously, a really strong item, since you're going to be going in the solo lane and you're going to be a tank, is the Sledge. I've already went over this item a lot in detail in my other videos. However, for a quick recap, it gives you physical and magical protections every single time somebody's close to you, and it gives a hefty amount of health and power with crowd control reduction and mana. Really strong item. So with a character like Sun Wukong, building him more Bruiser-like is the way to go. So Void Shield is really good. It gives him power, it gives him health with the protections, while also reducing physical protections of enemies around him. Also, Runic Shield is really strong on him. Onsile is also really good. I would personally recommend Onsile over Runic Shield. Not just because he gets the cooldown reduction, and whenever he takes magical damage, he'll instantly silence the people that are near him. And with his kit, he can get in close really, really easily. So having the silence on him is really, really strong. Another good item, Oni Hunter's Garb. It will complement his passive really well, giving him that damage mitigations on top of the fact that he'll get the protections once he drops below 50% health. So this is really strong to help him keep in those fights. Again, like I mentioned earlier, a vampire build, so Soul Eater is really strong on him. With the extra 10% cooldowns, and his abilities are off of cooldown relatively often. As you can see, with only 2 cooldown items, his Cudgel's down on 9.6 second cooldown. His second ability is on 8 second cooldown, and then his third ability is now on a 11 second. So, Soul Eater can be really good for him. However, I personally wouldn't build it on him for 2 main reasons. He has this ultimate right here to keep him alive. But if you want a little bit more survivability, especially when dealing with characters who have really strong healing, Soul Eater is a really strong choice. Another good item on him, Breastplate of Valor. You want as much cooldowns as possible, so you probably want to hit max. Another good item, Brawler's Beast Stick for his anti-heal. Normally, I would recommend building a Pestilence or a Contagion. However, with how hard this character can already hit, and how tanky this character can become once he drops below a certain threshold, you can get away with building a little bit more power. Finally, one good item I would recommend building is this right here, Shifter Shield. Right here. So if you don't know what this item does, while over 75% health, you gain 35 extra physical power. And then when your health drops below 75%, you also gain 35 magical and physical protections. And that will stack with your passive. So you'll get all this extra power, and then when you drop below a threshold, you'll get extra protections. Damn near almost 100 extra magical protections just for dropping below 75%, or just for dropping below 50%. So this is a really, really strong item on him. I would definitely recommend building this item. Now for Sun Wukong's game plan, as you can see from his abilities, he is relatively safe. He has a slow, he has this long range first ability, he has this knock up and the eagle. But as far as engaging goes, you want to engage with your Tiger ability, right? So what you would do is you would engage with this ability, then instantly hit them with a slow. And then just basic attack for a while, right? And then once they try to run away from you, then you hit them with your cudgel, right? You never really want to engage with the cudgel. What you want to use this cudgel for is mostly for poking and for clearing waves. And for kill confirm. So never really engage with this ability because you have these two hard-hitting abilities right off the gate. Also, with your ultimate ability, like I mentioned earlier, with implications with this ability. So let's say the laning phase is over, and you want to jump the mid. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing this all the time, considering the fact that this ability can heal you. However, something that you could do to try to bait out some abilities from people. Come out is start at the corner of the jungle, ult, and have the minion go attack for you. So they use their kit on the minion, right? And then you can come down with your ultimate. Now they have to use their run move because they just took all that damage. And now you still have your third ability for chase down. You have your second ability for slow. So that's a good way to use this ult. However, I wouldn't always recommend using that, like I said, just because the ultimate has healing on the ability, right? So the last thing I would recommend doing is sometimes you have to save this ability. Like I said, the Tiger is a really good engage move, but you coming out the jungle with this slow can be just as strong, right? So that way, when they actually do use their run move, you'll have your chase down here. So it's all about just the implication with this character. However, he is extremely safe. So if you're looking for a safe pick, this character is definitely a way to go, especially with how his kit works. Now, as far as Sun Wukong's leveling path, as far as his abilities and what to start, this character is made for the solo lane. He can be used in the jungle, just because of how his first ability works. However, I would not recommend it. The cooldowns on this ability with no cooldowns is 12 seconds, so it's a very, very long cooldown, and it hurts him to clear. So, and this character needs to be tanky to be used 100% effectively. Now, what you're going to be starting usually is Warrior's Blessing, and depends on the matchup of what first card you're going to be going. Shifter Shield is a really good start for him. It's really cheap once you get Round Shield. All you have to do is save up 1750, which is very possible in the solo lane. If the other enemy solo laner has more survivability than you, as far as healing goes, I would recommend a Soul Eater. It gives you pen, it gives you cooldowns, it gives you lifesteal so you can compete in that survivability. However, like I said, this character is relatively safe, so you don't really need this item, but it can help with your survivability, so this item can have its uses with this character. So, as far as leveling path goes, as you can see from the bottom right, you would go Magic Cudgel first. This is your clear move, especially since it does the extra damage to minions and jungle camps. You would go your second ability next, for this specific reason here. So, at level 2 or through level 4, you're not going to be instant clearing the wave. However, if you have this ability, as you can see, you'll insta clear the wave with your first item and this ability at the same time, saving your run move for when the solo laner wants to get a little bit more aggressive. And then at level 3, you would get this ability. As you level up, you want to level up your Magic Cudgel first. You want to get that to 5 because this is your clear move. Yes, I understand that leveling up the second ability will do more damage as far as the enemy god goes. However, the beauty in this character is his safety. Now, if you want to be more aggressive towards the enemy solo laner, level up your second ability, right? But keep in mind, this does cost 60 mana compared to this ability only costing 50 at the beginning, only up to 70. So you, it basically just comes down to what you're trying to do. However, I would always recommend leveling up the Magic Cudgel first. Now, another thing is, as you may have noticed before, is that leveling up to 72 transformations makes your Tiger do more damage. Now, once you have this ability to level 5, right, your first ability, it's completely up to you whether you want to level up your second ability or your third ability first. Now, if you can't hit the Tiger every single time, level up your second ability. If you can hit the Tiger, and once you get used to it, level up your third ability. Because your third ability will actually reduce the cooldowns to 14 seconds at max rank, and the Tiger will actually start doing more damage. So, it's completely up to you. Also, this character is somebody that I wouldn't level up your ultimate before the other abilities, for this reason. Even though this ability will obviously do more damage as you level it up, went for the slam down, the healing stays the same. So, since these abilities will definitely hit for a lot more than your ultimate ability will, because these will be on lower cooldowns for obvious reasons, leveling this ultimate ability before these really doesn't make any sense. You want to level up these before your ultimate, right, and then start dumping points to your ultimate just for the extra damage. But you're mostly going to be engaging with these abilities, and if you hit every single one of these abilities, they're going to be below half health anyway, so your team can clean up, or they had to back off in a solo lane perspective. That about covers it for Sun Wukong. He's a really, really strong god. I've always thought he was really strong because he doesn't really have any bad matchups, and he's really safe. The only two issues that this character does have is his kill potential, because even though his abilities hit hard, his cooldowns are relatively long, and he can't just insta-kill you. However, that's kind of his point. He's really safe. He pokes a lot, and then when you finally get below threshold, you try to get aggressive. He has a lot of safety and a lot of tools to help deal with that. He's also really strong right now in the meta, just because, and a lot more people are starting to realize that he's starting to get a lot more play in SPL. If you have any other questions, or if you'd like to add on to what I said in this video, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below, and I will catch y'all next time.